Hello, let's get started. Hi. It seems a long time because I was very busy with different conferences. Actually, we still have JupyterCon that's happening actually like in these 2 weeks. Yeah, but I was a bit busy with that and kind of like put the streaming things off my schedule a bit just to give myself some time to breathe, actually. Yeah, so hello, how's everybody? Hey, hello. I've seen people in the chat. There's like Aravin. Sorry, I really can't pronounce those usernames, but hello, hello. Yeah, so today we got to talk about Django. I have to first of all, upfront tell you that my Django experience is only I've done one workshop with the Django girls. But I think it would be good that we do it together, just like click a few weeks ago that we do it together, and we kind of explore Django and see what we can do with it. Well, I know a little bit of like what you can do with it. You can do a lot with it. So I think my idea is that this month I would actually do a web framework kind of thing. So today we gotta, get a little bit introduction of Django, what it is, like what we can do, maybe try a little bit of like see we can code with it. Like start a project and do maybe some kind of the quick start exercise or something like that, so you have an idea what Django is and like what you can do with it, and when you started using Django, how would it be like? So you don't have to go through that yourself. I'm doing it today with you. Um, and then next week maybe I will try Flask again. My Flask experience is that I have maybe one project or two that I use Flask. That's it. Um, so yeah, I'm not an expert in any means. And then maybe afterwards we can try other things. I don't know whether I should touch on other like tornadoes, those are more difficult to use. But I want to learn tornado because it's what is driving the Jupyter Notebook. Actually, I don't know whether I can use Jupyter Notebook with that. I don't know. I will figure it out by the time when we talk about that. But it's good to know to learn it because then if I want to build some Jupyter Notebook extension, then I know how it works. Things like that, and then maybe we have a week that we could cover other things like one thing that I like is cherry pie. It's very lightweight, it's very easy to use, other things like that. Okay, bips and bobs. But Django is a big thing. Django is very 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 popular. I got its own foundation, so this is the foundation supporting the project. It got its own conference. I think it's right happening a few weeks ago as well. This year it's funny. Like usually all the conference happening in summer, but this year all the conference happening online in fall, uh, and winter. So yeah, so that's funny. And my frame rate is dropping. Oh my god, I swear I'd switch off the VPN, but it still happens. Well, that's fine. Okay, so before we start, I think I would just give you a quick tour of what is Django, and I haven't installed it actually in this environment. I opened a new environment and I haven't installed it, so maybe we can install it together as well. So Django, well, one thing to say, it is the web framework for everything. It just kind of help you to build a website very very quickly. Not just a website, I when I build a website I just use Django, well, which is not a Python thing, it's a Ruby thing, but it's quick. You download the theme and then you just like put your content there, done. Host it on GitHub. That's what I do all the time. It's free. But Django actually let you. It's actually more. It expands a lot. It also contained a back end that you could host on a cloud, or well, that's another topic that I'm not familiar with, like hosting things on the cloud and things like that. But yeah, but your host, you can have a backend that you can have you can connect, like one way to do it very popularly is like connect it with some SQL database, so you can have a content management system with Django. So it's very very powerful. You can build a web app with it because it also contains a backend. So it mainly work in the backend actually because well, front end stuff mainly is by JavaScript, but Django I think is used Jinja or Jinja 2 that it kind of create the front end bit for you. But anyway, let's dive into it and we will see. Okay, so this is the documentation, so it's like help you to get started. So let's have a glance of what it provided. Oh, let me make it bigger so it's more reader friendly. So shout at me if it's still too small for you, so I can adjust. Yeah, just let me know in the chat. So yeah, Django is like let you build up a website very quickly, so you can actually start your web project very quickly. So things are built in modules. So you have different files. So actually, when you started a project, I think I will show in a bit that what you do is that you would set up a project, and in the project there will be like different files there. So you can see in my site there's a news and module. So there are different like Python. There are different like Python files that you could yeah, you could basically like create all these different things. So it's like Lego. So it's like you build all these modules together, so it kind of works. So you would create different classes. So yeah, it's a data model syntax. So everything is a kind of a model that is all these like classes that you would combine them together. So your website. So that's the functionality of your website. So yeah, and then also it come with the command line utilities, I think. So yeah, so less, yeah, so maybe we would see them when we install and try them out. So yeah, you can also create API with Django. That's another thing you could do. Yeah, so it's basically like a that's why it's so popular when you are doing web kind of development thing. Yeah, you can see that there are a lot of APIs, so it's kind of like this is the so the backend can reply kind of react to some API thing there, and dynamic admin interface. Yeah, so you also get an admin database like admin interface. So this is another thing that's good with Django, that the people who maintain the project, the technical bit, the people who build this web framework is it could be separate from people who administrate the website. So I like we always have this problem when I build with a Jackal, because it's good for like my own website because I can manage it very easily by adding content. You just need to know a little bit of coding. It's not too daunting. I think like I would recommend it to people who maybe just started coding to do it that way because well you kind of get familiar with doing all this stuff. But still, if you work in a company, there will be like a non-technical staff that they may want to administrate a website, but they would be like, if you ask them to use Git or code or write a markdown file, they would be scared to death. So yeah, like having it separate, that you have a administrative interface, which is kind of like a GUI interface that people are familiar with, because like anything that you use online, it's just like using your Facebook or like using your YouTube and things, like you just click there and then put in some information in the boxes. So these are the things that most people are familiar with and they're comfortable using. So anybody can administrate the well, of course, not anybody, but like people you give the the authentication to, they could log in and do the administrative stuff there, without any for any things like any other tools that programmer use, which is very good. Um, yeah. So you see that when you create a project, you have this admin.py, and yeah, and then there are like all these things that can you integrate like PHP in it? Uh, oh yeah, so it's just compared that itself to PHP, so everything is just a path in URL. So yeah, it's kind of hidden. Well, for us who have some experience with Python and Django, we can have a feeling that okay, this website is built by Django, but normally people won't see it because it's hidden. So it's not like PHP that you can see that .php that's it's written in PHP, but in Django when you're kind of browsing like the website, that you basically can tell what's behind the scene. And yeah, write your view. So this is like more like how view is like how it looks like, I think. Design your template. So yeah, this is like how it looks like. So you can design the template. So you have some HTML. So this is the Jinja syntax, I think. Yeah, this is very similar to liquid tech, something that I'm familiar with Jackal. So yeah, so this is kind of a HTML template that you see that you can have some coding here. So it's kind of extend. So it's kind of like including the liquid tag, that kind of. So this HTML doesn't like survive by itself. You can see there's no body, no head there, but it's kind of plugged with the kind of like you plug this into the base HTML because you have created this year achieve um, thing before, so you have your views, and then so this is kind of like React. It just remind me of React a little bit. Well, again, I'm not an expert in any means, but I've seen it a little bit. So you write some like functions there, and then you can use it in your template. So yeah, it got some like um, front end capability as well. So this is super cool. Like you think that Python is like it can't do things like JavaScript can do. No, but the heavy lifting is on the backend side, of course, but you can still have all these things that you can like then render HTML quite flexibly using this template. Yeah, and then you write blocks, so you can have some for loop here. So what happens is that when you generate a website, then this code with the percent sign will be executed. So it will generate a static HTML with all this code there, but you don't have to write yourself. It's like there is a a machine generating an HTML for you, but the HTML itself after generated is static, so it's not dynamic as JavaScript. But you can see that like you can actually plug in some JavaScript here if you want to. So yeah, it's very versatile. Yeah, this is just like if you like me, you have used Django, you're familiar with all this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it used static files. So this is another good thing. I like static file because it loads very quickly. Like some JavaScript, when you visit some website, you just like spin the wheel a little bit. Like, okay, is it okay? Do I have to refresh? Like it's always like a roller coaster. But with static website, you don't have these problems. Yeah. So yeah, that's the. It's just a quick like it's mainly for me actually. Like just a quick reminder of what Django do. So let's do this. Let's download it. Um, how to get Django? This is a good question. You pip install it. Yeah. So I'll just pip install it. So pip install Django. I'll just do whatever they told me to do. So I've opened like this Jupyter notebook. I like using Jupyter notebook because then if I open a terminal, you can see what I'm doing. So I hope it works. Yeah, this way. If it doesn't, then well, I don't know. So yeah, so installing Django. Yep. Yeah, I'm in a brand new environment. So in this environment, I only have Jupyter Notebook. That's why I have to install it from scratch. And here you have it. Yeah. Oh, well, I never update my pip, which is a very poor thing, but yeah, we'll leave it for now. I'm just too lazy. Right. So I have installed Django. So how to? So after you get it, so installation guide. Okay. Support versions. I think we are kind of fine. Yeah, there's a thing. I think last time I have a chat with the maintainer, one of the maintainer of Django, Adam. He told me that there's the problem with Django is that there are lots of versions. If version 5, of course, is not, well, this is visual development, but you can see the reason here, right? Like, it may not be very backward compatible because it's an old project. So if you look at some kind of help like ages ago, like a few years ago, then it may not work. So yeah, be careful when you're googling something with Django. Make sure that the version is updated at least just only like one or two versions behind, or like at least the answer from Stack Overflow or something is at least like not 2 years behind, because yeah, the chances are you get something not supported like 5.2.7. Okay, so now I've done that. So let's go back to the documentation, and so I've installed it. Let's do a tutorial. So let's get started. So I think the tutorial kind of like getting started or something. I know that you have to initialize the project. So maybe yeah, let's have a look. So install guy, I've done it. I think install Python. No thanks, I have already done it. First Django app, great. Okay, so lesson 1. So first of all, check your version. Yeah, it's just like checking whether your Django is like installed properly. I think it's a good practice to do it, so I'll do it. And yeah, 3.1.2, the most updated, like the latest version. Yay. So what do we have? Creating a project. Yes. So what you do is that you do a Django admin start project, and then in this example, what they're doing is called my site. I think I'll just follow, but this obviously is the name of your web app, so it could be something else. But I'll just follow whatever they do, because I hate naming things. Yeah, don't ask me. Right, so Django admin start project my site. So let's see. Yeah, so they created my site for me here. Oh, is it too low for you? Let me see. Can you see it better right now? Yeah, so you can see that when I type ls, which is seeing what's inside, I have my site. Oh, you can see it here actually. Yeah, that's my site. So inside, well, I have a management.py and I have my site. So this is yeah, inside my site, there's my site. And inside my site, there is quite a few things. Oh, there's something that's different. I haven't seen this like last time I used it. So maybe yeah, there's some new things going on here. But setting.py, yes. URS.py, yes. So these are the like, and of course init. So you have this are the like kind of the initial project, how it looks like. These are the defaults. Of course we'll do more things, but we'll just follow the tutorial and see. So yeah, we have created my site, which is the first step. We have done it. Yeah, the thing is like after you created the project, you please don't name it, because yeah, and also like don't choose the name that is, yeah, there's conflict with other things, because you may crash it somewhere internally. Just maybe use a longer name. That's fine. Just yeah, create something that doesn't match, like that doesn't, you know, don't name it Python or something, or Django. Like obviously. Where should this code live? Okay, that's just a good question. Yeah, so if you're a PHP developer, then yeah. So I think this is telling you where to put it when you host your web server. And so yeah, so don't put your Python code under the root. So this is what it's saying. Um, yeah, so because if you put it in roots, then people can easily like crack it open. So yeah, so that's why put it outside of the root. So just kind of hide it a little bit better, I think. Um, yeah, so this is what we have right now. This is exactly what I showed you earlier. Um, so yeah, manage.py is actually for your admin, and my site is actually those are the files that generate your website. Yeah, so we will see what they do in a bit. I think it's like difficult for me to explain, because I have no idea what they are. Like ASGI, what are they? Yeah, so I think there are some specific things for the web which I have no idea. I'm a beginner, like you, I hope. So yeah, or you are actually like maybe you have more experience than me, so you can teach me in the chat if I done anything wrong or explain something wrong. But um, yeah, we gotta do a little bit of uh, the next step. Change. Hmm. Okay, so do the management of Pi run server. Okay, so I'll do this. I don't know what would happen, but let's try. And can't open file. No such file. Oh, I am not in my site. Okay, sorry. Let's do it again. And then okay, so it's give me a warning saying that there's nothing inside. Maybe that's the problem. And then I have something running in, my localhost at 8000 port, which I think is opening now. Oh yeah, it's okay. It means that Django is working even though we have nothing inside. It's like, it's so cute. Okay, I sync this page because debug equals to true, so we are just testing whether it works. So yeah, yeah, I'm just like thinking, okay, so yeah, my Jupyter notebook I think is running on 8888, so it's not crashing. It's good. I have multiple plots for my localhost right now, and yay, web server gateway interface. Yes, I think you mean this rocket, right? So yeah. Or you're explaining WSGI. Okay, yeah, web server gateway interface. Yeah, I have no idea what it is. But yeah, thanks for explaining that. Yeah, and so I think we may not use it today because we're doing beginner stuff. But if you're like, that's why Django is cool, because it lets you do a lot of stuff that is, you could do a lot of things with it, which like some of them are more advanced that I'm not going to touch today. But if you really like Django and if you really need to develop a website, of course you can dig into all this topic. So just go to the documentation and check it out. Um, so yeah, it's running, which is good. So what should we do now? We can quit the server. Yeah, ignore the warning, which I've done. And now it's running. Yeah. So okay, I can change the port. Yes, if I'm, but that's fine. Oh yeah, you can type in HOHO if you want to change the port or like anything. But I think it's fine. I'm not using 8000, so yeah, I'll just keep it like that. Right. Reloading of the server. Right, so it will reload. So it's kind of like Jackal Watch. No, not Jackal Watch. Jackal Serve. That like when you change HTML or anything, it would just like automatically update, which is good. Yeah, but some action need a restart. So yeah, it's kind of, if you have to Jackal like me, then you kind of, this is exactly like a Jackal Serve. That some of the thing, like if you change the config file, then you have to restart. But otherwise, like if it's just a change of HTML or CSS, then it will just refresh it for you. So this is cool. This is good. We can create a poll app. Okay, post app. Okay, so let's do it. Um, I've I think have I do this tutorial? I think I've tried this tutorial a little bit, but I haven't go through it from the beginning to the end. Not like the Jungle Girls, but this is kind of similar, but in a different perspective, I think. So that's why I want to try this today. Sorry, like there's some like outcast outside, so I'm a bit dark, so I'm turning on the light again. Okay, so yeah, now we can start app post. So I don't know what it does for me, but let's try that. Yeah. Oh, can I? Yeah, let's. Nope, nothing. So yeah, let me just close it and do this in a bit. So okay, so I've typed that Python manage.py start app post. So according to the documentation, it should create something for me. Is it? Yeah, it created something for me. So my side there is the post. There is a DB SQLite, so it's using SQLite. Yeah. So let's check. Is it correct or? Yeah, so it would create a directory called post. So so you can see now I have my site and post. So in post I should have those things. So let's see. Right, we have lots of things. We have app, we have admin, we have test views. Yes, yeah, lots of things. Migrations. Okay, so this is what we have. We have done it correctly. So we can write our view. So now we can build our app. So the thing is, like, I think, yeah, there are two layers here. So this is my site, which is, well, your website, and then inside your site you can have multiple apps. So now I have my post, but well, of course you can have multiples. I think it just depends on how you orchestrate it in your site. But let's try to build this app first, and then we will see how the whole thing come together. So in the views we have to write something. So we could import this HTTP response, and then we just respond, hello world, this is the post. So I think this is something like the console log in JavaScript. So let's do that. So go to views, and yeah, oh, it's already done the render for me. Create your views here. So do I just paste it here? I think so. Let's save it. So in the index, so yeah, when there's a request, and I just put a response. I think this is what it's doing. Right. Yeah. So I've done it now, and then what should I do? To call the view. Oh, so I need to map it to a URL. So now I have one view, the index thing. So now I have to map it, and yeah, so I have to put this in the URLs. So let's do this. Okay, so this is done. So I'm doing it in URLs. So I have to go back to my site, is it? Let me double check. post.url. Do I have a URL? Oop, I don't have it. Do I have to create it? Sorry. Yeah, I've missed something here. Yeah, you have to create this urls.py yourself. Okay, I'll do that. New text file. Let's put it here, and then let's put it here, and then name this urls.py. urls.py. Right. Save. Okay, so not like this. Yeah, save in the kind of, yeah, save. Okay. Right, so I have so import from dot import views. So I'm importing the views in the same folder and after path. So I just say that the URL patterns of the path, if it's empty, then just put in the index for me. So it's just put in that HTML, I think. Okay. Right, the HTML response, I mean. So it's just put in that views that we create, which is a function inside the views. Right, so we need other things. Oh, the roof. Okay. So yeah, and then, because this is how we tie the app into my site. So so in the app itself, when you go to the, the the path of the app, then it kind of is trigger the index HTML response that view. But in your main site, how can it know to know when to go inside your post app? So it needs another URL mapping. So we have to do it in my site. So let's copy this and put it in my site. So let's go back to my site. Here, then we should have another HTML URLs. So here, then admin is already here. So let me just put it down there and see what's going on. Yeah, admin is this one, which is fine. And yeah, so we have also include. So we would put the post.urls inside. So we pull that URLs into this URL. I think I can just safely delete this because this is just adding stuff in it. So save it, and so we have admin. So you know the admin is actually calling the admin interface for your site. So this is default, so that's why it's already here. But why not Visual Studio Code Editor instead of notebooks? Yeah, I don't have Visual Studio Code Editor. I don't use VS Code. The thing is that because sometimes I want to show the website, I use Atom actually personally. But sometimes I want to show the website and then I want to show the code because Jupyter Notebook actually render in the browser, so I can just switch the tab. So that's why I use it. I know it's not the best setup. You may have a better idea, but so far it kinds of work. I know it's not the prettiest, but yeah, I think invisibility is better than what I've done before, which I have multiple windows. I have Atom, I have an HTML which is kind of small, and then I have a terminal which is also small. Then like sometimes I switch back and forth and forgot to switch um the the setup. So yeah, there's two things here. I'm using OBS, so OBS also like you can switch the layout of all these windows. So sometimes I switch to just showing the website, and then I forgot to switch back to my um, coding layering, so you can't see what I'm doing. So yeah, the best is like if I put it on like browser tabs, then what I'm seeing is what you're seeing, so I won't forget to switch it. Yeah, so I think yeah, this worked for me. Right. Okay, so this is saved, and yeah, and include, so yeah, include this here. Yeah, especially I'm doing this tutorial, I have to switch back and forth, so I think it's the best that you're looking at the screen together with me. um yeah, I'm my desktop is super messy, you don't know, like this is my life, I have a million tabs. So yeah. So yeah, you experience the same thing together with me. Right, so the include function call in the other URL reference, so like I said, it pulls in all this like post or URLs that we have created earlier into the my site URLs. Right. So yeah, so you can have other things as well, but that's okay. We just, yeah, you can call it something else, I think, but post is actually fine. Um, Also teach you how to use include. Yep. And now we can try it. We can run server. Okay, let's try. And then go back to the terminal here. Then run server. Again, we should go back to the server. And then here refresh. It says that nothing's found. Yes, because we don't have an index for this page, but we can have post. Post. And hello world, you see this HTTP response that's rendered, and yay, the post is working at least. Right. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial and see what's going on. Page not found, yeah, because yeah, we have the thing in post, but we haven't created anything for the root, so there's nothing in the root, but that's fine. So now we can do the path thing, which okay, this is more complicated now. It's kind of create a pattern, so you can have different like. You see this a lot, like when you browse some modern websites, you will be like question mark page equal to 3. This is passing some arguments to the yeah, to the, I think it's to the path. So you can take arguments in the path. So you can take this, which is useful when you have like, for example, apps that search things. So you can have like this is common, right? Google would be like search equals to, you know, you have those keywords that you search for. So you pass those as a parameter to the backend, and then the backend will search with that keyword. Yeah. Hmm. How's the time doing? Oh, it's already like half an hour. Oh my god, like Django is huge. Okay, I hope we get to like at least get to something within another half an hour. So view, and then yeah, this is what we can do. So this is just explaining what you can do with the path. You can have names, you can have the arguments. So let's see what else we can do. Part two. Part two, we can have a database. Yay! Yeah, this is something that I really want to try actually. So let's dive into it. And yeah, so we have the backend, the DB backend. We have the PostgreSQL. We have the engine. I think we already use SQLite. This is what is default. I think is generated for us already. Yeah. So you can change it though. Like if you're I don't like SQLite, I want to use MySQL or Oracle, you can change it. There are also other backends available. I'm curious. Okay, there's Cockroaches DB. Oh, okay. Cockroach DB. I heard the name because it's funny. But Firebirds, okay. Microsoft SQL, okay. So yeah, there are also other backends that is also, of course, the party things. That's another thing, because like, you know, for those, you know, I work in a database company, so maybe we need to build a third-party database backend for Django. We'll see. I'm not, again, like, I'm nowhere Django expert. I don't know too much about the backend of SQL database in general, so I don't know how much I can do with this. Of course, I know a little bit about the database, the graph database that, you know, Terminus TV, the graph database that I work for. I know a little bit of it. Of course, I have, you know, colleagues that they're expert in it, but yeah, but you know, creating a third-party backend is gonna be something very challenging if you actually want to write a third-party backend for Django. If you're interested in graph database, if you want to write a third-party backend for us for Django, contact me. I'm happy to work with you. My colleague will be happy to work with you, and you can be the VDFL of the third-party plugin. So yeah, we would love you to death, you know. So contact me if you want to take on this project as a challenge. Yeah, so let me know. Okay, after this quick advertisement commercial break, let's go back here. So yeah, like the default will be using some like SQLite and things like that. It's fine. We'll do that today with the tutorial. But I mean, like, yeah, that would be cool if we can use Terminus DB with Django. Yeah, and so yeah, so you have to also set user password host, well, which is common for databases. You have to set all that up. Um, I think the default already done it for us for the SQLite, so that's fine. So yeah, this is just like giving you information if you're not using SQLite, which we gotta skip because we're using the default today. And time zone. Oh, you can also change the setting to time zone to your own time zone. Okay, maybe have a look. Have a look. Is it my site or do I have to go to post? It doesn't tell me. Oh, it's my site. Okay, let's have a look. So does it tell me the time zone or anything? Whoa. Here we have, yeah, lots of things, lots of settings here, which I have no idea what they are. Okay, it's just telling me that engine is using SQLite. Yes, this is what we're doing. And the name, so I would just keep all the default, and you have to set the password, I think. That's okay. Oh, time zone UTC. Well, I don't know, cause like I am in UTC +1 still, but we are changing into UTC in just a week or so, 2 weeks. Yeah, a few weeks. So we'll be UTC. Sorry, it's sunny out there again. So let me switch off the light so it's better. Okay. Yeah, we are going to be UTC soon, so I'll just keep it as UTC, but you can change it. If you're in Europe, you can change it into UTC +2, or later you can change it to UTC +1, or if you're in other place, if you're in Hong Kong, UTC +8 for you then. Right. Okay, so Hong Kong or Beijing, or which other places that have the same time? Singapore, maybe? Yeah, UTC +8. Yeah, because I used to live in Hong Kong, so I know. Yeah. Right. Okay, so uh, what else we can do? So there are all these settings. You can change the admin side. Ooh, okay, so we are touching the admin side now. Authentication, sessions, yeah, all this stuff that I have no idea, but you can, if you're visiting this documentation, you can click on each of them and dive into it and see what's going on. But again, today is a beginner's tutorial because I'm a beginner. I'm just gonna go with the basics, go with the default, and just finish this tutorial. But in the future, I may actually have a deeper look of this. Yeah, I think I may need more time in Django. Maybe I should come back to Django one day just to have a series of Django tutorials. Well, not tutorials, but learn Django with me thing. Then I could discover new functionalities and stuff together with you. Okay, so we can do the migrate, which I have no idea what it's doing. I think, oh, okay, so it's saying that like you're installing apps or something. Okay, so let's try this. Let's go back to our terminal, which is here, and okay, I have to cut it. Yeah, so my side, yes, and then run this command, and it's saying okay, 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 which is good, rather than warnings and stuff. So what's going on? So it says that yeah, it's not app settings. So okay, it's just I think it's just create all these settings. So yeah, it kind of does it change my setting? I didn't see anything. Maybe because I'm using the default, so it's fine. But I think if you change things, maybe yeah, so it will kind of like make the setting works for your apps. Right. So now you'll see a message for each migrate applies. Yeah. So if you're interested, okay. So you can look at your database and you can run the command line client for your database and type show tables. Okay. So you can do this dot schema. Is it like let me try. Okay. I have no idea, but let's try. So DT, was that dot schema? Oh, it doesn't work that way. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. You run the command line client. Oh, you have to have the command line client for the database. Well, I don't have one for SQLite, I think, so I'll just skip it. Yep, so the default application is included. So I think we are okay. So, right. Essentially a database layout of external metadata. Right, so you can also have more customization on it. So the dry principle, what does that mean? If you know, please let me know in the chat. So yeah, it's just like there's a lot of models, and to define your data model in one place. Okay, so I think it's like something that's like more low level, like how things work. So maybe if you are an expert, then you could have some opinion about like what is better. So maybe like yeah, so there's saying some difference between Ruby on Rails and Django. So I don't care about it too much at this point. So let's skip it. Yeah, sorry, I'm skipping a lot of things because like we are doing the very basic today. Yeah, like I said. So yeah, for those like very more in-depth discussion, you can discover them yourself. so we have the, we are still working on the polling app, and so let's create two modules, questions and choice. So so we have to do this. So we have to put this in models.py. So let's do it together. I can click this button. I'm so stupid. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our pose, and then this should be models.py, right? So let me double check. I don't want to make mistakes. Yes. So I will have the models in my site, and then I could create my models here. So let's place it. Oh, I already have that. So let me delete this. And yeah, I have two models, which is in a class in this file, in Python terms. Um, so it's kind of like, okay, it create a character field that the maximum length is 200, and then there's also the date, and those are questions, and choice would be like foreign key. So yeah, there's some mysterious method there, integer fields. So I think all this stuff would be detailed in the documentation of Django. DRY, yeah, DRY, not DIY. I don't know what it is. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, I think if you're interested in all these like different frameworks and stuff, you can have a deeper look. Um, each model is represented by a class. So there's so this is like all this mysterious stuff like character field. I can kind of guess what it is. Daytime field. So this maybe is like for the inputs. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of think that this field are kind of like diff in HTML or React, things like that. I don't know. We'll see it when we render it, okay? So, choice, yeah, says raise a single question. So it kind of explains everything, but because I'm an impatient person, I'll just look at the result and guess what it is. So, okay, so Django can create tables, so it kind of can work with a database. So that's how all this work, right? You can actually like talk to the database with Django. So this is how the app works because, for example, in this polling app, after you get the answer from, well, you have to get the questions from the database, and then you can either create the maybe the choices that someone. Oh, you have to you have to get the choices as well. But like after that, if someone you know put in a choice, then you have to store it in the database. So Django can work with all these database if you have installed it. So um, now we have to put this in settings. So it includes the app. So I think we haven't included the app yet before. So we have to put this in settings. So so you can see that we have the post.app. I think this is the only thing that we're adding, but we'll see. So go to my site.settings. So setting it is in my site. Yes. So install app, you can see, yep. So I'll just put it next to each other so you can see the comparison. So yeah, we have added the po app config. So this is what we have added. Okay, so yeah, the other things don't change it, I think, especially for beginners, unless you are an expert and know what you're doing, because you may actually make the site not working by deleting some of these. So just keep them and edit your app here, like what you have been told. Yeah, I don't want to make it explode. So it's like boom. Right. So we can make migration and then post. So this is like what we have done before, but we are kind of pulling in the settings in the post, I guess. So let's do it. So please give me the OK thingy. Okay, yeah. So it kind of migrates the questions and the choice. So we have created those two models. So now it's pulled in. So now it's done. Yep. So let's go back to have a look. And yeah, this is exactly what we get. And then so it's kind of like rerunning the configurations. It's kind of like telling Django that I've made some changes. Please update the setup and things like that. And then now, well, there's actually two there's different migration commands or make migrations this time we're using. So I think it's for the models, and there's also Sql Migrate. I think this is like for like so it's like something about the Sql thing, but okay, we'll see what it gives us. So let's go here and then have a look. It gives me, oh, this is like kind of like SQL create table. Ooh, haha. So I think it's like migrating things in a database. So it's created the ID for the question, and so it's created the field in the model. Oh, now it's like coming together. Yeah. So in this model, so it's kind of like this. I think this is actually setting up the field. So sorry, it's not about HTML. So it's about the field in your database. So it's creating a character field, and a datetime field. So it's like different fields, like columns. Yeah, for me it's columns because I work with data frame, and you can create key as well. So I think maybe these two are two different tables. So let's have a look at what we got. Yeah, so there's two different tables with different views. Oh, okay, now I understand. Cool. Yeah, so this is how Django talks to your SQL database. Good stuff, good stuff. So I think, yeah, so I think the third-party plugin is just like when you are creating these models, how can you generate a query language to, oh, actually, I can do that with Terminus DB. Absolutely. I think, yeah, it's not that difficult. Like, if we can write the, Waco that we created a query language for our database, well, of course we can create this. In theory, in theory. So yeah, well, that's fun. This is exciting for me. Oh my god, like, sorry guys, I'm so excited. I love Django. Oh my god, we can actually, I think maybe next week we should continue this, don't you think? I can have a part two before we move on to Flask. Because like I'm really like liking Django now. Like, oh my god. I think it's like when I get older, oh my god, I feel so old now. When I have more experience with all this stuff, because my Python journey is always ongoing. When my Python age get older, I kind of appreciate different Python things more. So I'm really appreciating Django now. I wasn't like that like a year or 2 years ago. So yeah, I'm so glad that I'm doing this with your um. So yeah, let's finish this part and then maybe we can continue the next part next week. So so yeah, we have all these things that we created, and yeah, this is just explaining what's happening. I think you can read it. I already guess what's happening. You can also run the Python manage check as well. So yeah, let's run that and see what's going on. Oh, I'm really excited. I'm like a kid now. And yep, no issues found. So this is kind of like a sanity check, I think. So we can now do the migrate and just do the Python migrate and Python manage migrate, and it's okay. It's saying that now the posts are migrating okay. So everything's good. Everything's good, and it's good that it's kind of caches, so it doesn't run all the things again. It just like run this new post that we have added. Yeah, and then so this is the workflow. So it's like you add your model and then you make migration to apply those changes, and then after that you can migrate to apply the change to the database. So this is like 3 step, right? So you write some Python code, you 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 do the, of course, save, and then like do the make migration. So it's kind of Django adopts those changes, and when you migrate it, it would push the change to the database. I think this is so cool. I really love it. Oh, playing with the API. What's that? So yeah, in the Python shell, you can play around with the Django API. And then you can go to the shell. Okay, so this is, oh, what is it doing? Okay. So this like you are, so instead of using the settings.py, you're just using it in a shell. So setting module, explore the database API. So yeah, so let's try that together. And it's so cool. Manage. So we are entering the shell, and then what we are doing is that we would yeah, from post module. So we will import those things. Oops, sorry, wrong tab. Okay, so we have import those modules that we have created, and then we can have a question.object.o. I don't know what it does, but we'll see in a second. Okay, so it's saying that actually there's nothing in there. So it's basically like an interactive shell that we could make a query. So right now we have no question in there, so that's why it's giving me an empty query set. And um, so we could, yeah, so this is like nothing here. And now we can have a time zone that we can pull in from Django util. And then okay. So I'm creating a question right now. So Q equals to a question, and then we just like create a text and a time zone. Okay, so let's do that. So the time would be like now. So the publish day is now. So just saying like now there's a question. There's what's new, and then we have to save it, and then give it an ID, I guess. So save, and then q.id, give it an ID is 1. Okay, so okay, save give it an ID. So an ID is generated when you use save, and then you can get it back by .id. You can also see the question and the publication date as well. So yeah, and then pub date. Yeah, pub date. Yeah, so we have all this information in this object. Oh, this is so cool. And then uh, so okay, so I can change the text as well. So there's also a setter. So it's not just a getter, it's also a setter. I can change it to what's up. So now if I do the text again, I think it will become what's up, not what's new. Yeah, it's what's up. So it kind of like it's a getter and a setter in that way. And then if we now look at the objects that we would have one object. So we have just created one question. And then uh, isn't helpful. Yeah, what's in there? So okay, you can actually add a string method in question, so it will print out the text. Okay, this is nice. So we can add this one in, and also the choices as well. We can also add that. That's fine. We will do it quickly here. So I add a yeah string there, and also this one would be the choice.text here. Right. So save, and then custom methods. Okay, so we can also add a custom methods to this model. So it's also still in the models. Okay. Right. Was published recently, so it will return the date that is not later than uh, 1 day ago. So if we added this, so this is so cool. This is not just a query thing. You could also have some custom kind of preset query with this like what's it called, like custom method. So in this object, it's not just like, oh, get me those views. It also can create a methods for you. So yes, under questions. Okay, cool stuff. What else we're adding? Yeah, so we have the daytime there, and if we go to the shell again, okay, I'm in the shell, and do I have to rerun this thing? Maybe. Save the changes, start a new Python. Whew. Yeah, let's try this. If it does, oh yeah, let's end it and then. Oh, sorry. Oh. Yeah, let's end this and then do it again. And this time I hope it's updated. So let's try this again, and then yeah, this time I hope it's printing out what's up because we have changed it. Yep, it's what's new. It's still what's new. Oh, it has. Oh, I haven't saved it last time. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot to save it here. So well, it's fine. What's new is also fine. And then question object filter ID goes to 1, so I can now get the question, which ID is 1. That's okay. And then it can also filter with some kind of word. So it's like start with what. So yeah, there's kind of like some kind of filter, predefined filter method there. So now if you put time zoned, you could actually get you can get the year, and then you can be like, okay, give me all the questions that is published within this year, which is 2020, which only get one question because I just added it. Yep. And then, sorry, I'm just like going through this because this is quite obvious. But if you are saying that if can I get the ID equals to 2? No, there isn't anything like that. I just say that nope, it doesn't exist. Get one. So what is PK? Oh, primary key. Okay, so it's equivalent to ID. Yep. And what else we can do? I want to use that custom thing. So this is object primary key goes to 1. Okay, we are doing something now. Primary key goes to 1, so we have created an object that primary key is 1. And then what we are doing is that choice set.or. So there's no choice here now, right now. Okay, so we are adding a choice. So q choice set.create a choice text, and then votes equals 0. So there's different these are the objects that basically host the text and how much vote that you have. And then because queued is a question object and it got a primary key one, so I guess all these choices are mapped to the question using the primary key. So yeah, so I'm like just adding all this thing like what I've been told. So what is this C equals to? Just hacking again. Huh. Okay, so we can store. I think it means that we can store this object as something, but you can see that this object is actually tied to a question, which is the question that we created. Because this choice, just hacking again, is created using our first question, and then but if you call this object that we have created and then ask what question is tied to, it just say that what's new. Yeah, so it makes sense. So now we have a 3 choices for our first question, and then count. So how many choices we have? There's 3. Can we save it, please? No, not yet. Filter question plot update. Yeah, we don't have to save it. Why? That's strange. Okay. Yeah, so which year it is publishing? Of course, well, if it's this year, then it's what we've just added. So this just hacking thing is C, and then we want to delete it for some reason. Okay. So now I think, yeah, it's deleted. So I think what we do now is that if we do the choice set all, I think, yeah, it would just be 2, and the count would just be 2. Yeah. So we have deleted that, and then yeah, that's it. I think what I would do is that I would save this admin, this part. So it's part 2 Django admin. I would remember that, and then we'll start it next week from here. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I like Django, so I think I will continue next week. Yeah, because it's Sunday. I don't want to be sitting here too long, just like to hack around Django. I mean, you can do this all day, but yeah, I want to go out before it rains again as well. So thank you so much for joining me in this journey. I'm super excited, and I really love it. I wasn't I wasn't appreciating Django before because I was not having that much awareness and knowledge about databases. But because now I work for Terminus DB, I'm super aware that actually this is how database can be used for a web app, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate Django can do all this stuff. So next week we'll just continue this tutorial, and also yeah, I got a lot of like inspiration. I'm like really stimulated, so I think yeah, 1 hour is a good good time to do this. And yeah, and thank you so much for joining me. Sorry, I can't read your name. Pashet, Pashet, Pashesh. Sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong probably. Sorry about that. But really appreciate that you all joined me today. I would try again, um, continue next week. And next week also we would have world. Okay, so first of all, sorry about like Meet Me Pie that because Lace and I got some personal things, in our personal life. Whereas it's not that we have an argument or nothing like that. It's just that we are both busy with our personal life and there's something happening in our life. So we have to. Um... okay, so uh, yeah, thanks for correcting my pronunciation. Yeah, so Meet Me Pie is temporarily suspended for now. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Like if we go to a better place in our life, we'll continue Meet Me Pie again. So for the weekly tutorial, so I will have this Sunday. It's just that last week is PyCon India, so I stopped 1 week just I guess spend more time with the folks in the sprints. Um, so next week I will continue this, and then for World of Warcraft that you love with Terminus DB, I have to change the schedule because I've changed it to Thursday, and then next week actually is we are resuming our webinar, which I think we're going to talk about some kind of hub. I'll see if I can get Gavin, which is our CTO, to join us and explain a little bit about the development of Terminus DB and what's new, and then what's like how to import a CSV and all this stuff in Terminus DB. So yeah, so next Thursday would be the webinar for Terminus DB. So actually, that would also be our World of Wackelcraft, and then I would have World of Wackelcraft every Thursday instead of Friday, at I think 4. I would double check and announce it on the Twitter. So yeah, there's some change in the streaming schedules. I'll also update Twitch. I forgot to update it for a long time. Sorry about that. But I'll also update Twitch for my streaming schedule. So thank you so much for being patient with me. I've been like crazily like all over the place in the last few weeks, but yeah, I hope that now with the new pace, with the new ideas, that we would continue and hopefully we'll get through all this crazy time very, very soon. And please stay safe and enjoy the rest of the week. Or if your week start on Sunday, so yeah, enjoyed it. So yeah, see you next week. Bye.